sheriff's not gonna answer any questions about any ongoing business.
Thank you.
Just be clear with that.
Okay.
Nice to meet you. Sure.
Very well. Make sure you get information on me and our organization, because we provide quotes every year. So if there's a need, we can do it on a regular basis. We have 3 boxes from
Okay.
Different organization.
Okay.
But yes, you're not losing your mind.
Okay.
Yep. And those went to sister here, and, this one went to elementary school.
Okay.
Yes, but you are right.
I'm lucky.
Okay, I'm not losing that.
No, you are not.
That's a good
Different
thing.
organization, and then going to different places.
Are you sure you're okay with that? I can't tell you. Well, it could be good Valentine's. Yeah. It's all about Valentine's. Love and Valentine's. Are you? It's not good as that. Yeah. Do I know? No, it's South Carolina. Well, all y'all know about that, right?
Yes, they are.
Dang, y'all further back than usual. All right, give me a thumbs up. Everybody's good?
Golden.
All right. Unfortunately, a lot of times I stand up here and we talk about bad stuff. Today, we're going to talk about something good. something that, you know, is going to help our community, and particularly our kids. And I talk about kids who make bad decisions. Well, we're going to talk about kids today that we're going to help and give them something I think will just bring them up a little bit and probably help them make some good decisions, but also stay warm. We have a South Carolina organization called Coats for Kindness, and Mr. Snyder's with us. He started it and contacted me about a month or so ago and said, look, we get coats. We buy lots of coats, and we want to give them to some kids that need it. Winter's here, it's cold, and we just know there's some children that just need something to keep them warm. Unfortunately, we've got some kids who go to our elementary schools who just don't have a warm coat. So he said, can you help out? And I said, well, if you got the coats, we're going to find the kids. And that's what we've been able to do. What you see in front of me is just a small example of what they got. We've got 400 new coats that's going to be given today to our elementary schools at Arden Elementary, Burton Pack, Jackson Creek, E. Taylor, Joseph Kills, and Mill Creek. We've got principals and representatives here that's going to take them back and give it to these children that they've identified that needs a little bit of warmth. And you know, when you do stuff like this, it warms the heart. And we want to warm their bodies, but it warms everybody's hearts when kids have a smile on their face and, you know, and go to school and where they can learn, where they don't have to worry about, well, I'm going to be freezing when I go home. I'm going to be freezing when I walk to school. You know, just little things that we take for granted that some of our kids just don't have. And Coats for Kindness now is filling that gap. They're going to have these 400 coats going to go to these kids. And, you know, today might not be as freezing as it's been, but it's still wintertime. And the South Carolina weather, we always know that the month of February and right into March is going to be cold. So these coats are going to come in handy for some kids who need it. So I'm going to ask Mr. Snyder to come up and talk about his program a little bit, and then we're going to have one of the principals talk about it.
Thank you. Thank you, Sheriff Lott. As Sheriff Lott said, the organization I founded about 15 years ago, which is a 501c3, not-for-profit, is called Coats for Kindness. And we have been, for years, giving away new warm winter coats to K through 12 children, primarily in the greater Columbia area, but we find that we have requests throughout the state of South Carolina. We've given out thousands of coats, and we work entirely off of private donations. So it's been a wonderful program. God's blessed us in many ways. I'm a member of Trenton Road United Methodist Church, and the church has supported us financially. We have a coat drive every year where members bring in new coats. So it's been a very meaningful program. We have supported the local elementary schools for the last 7 or 8 years here throughout the Columbia area. As Sheriff Lott said, it's amazing to see that there's so many children who don't have warm coats. And one thing that always puts smiles on our faces is when we see a child put a coat on, a new coat, and zip it up, they oftentimes don't want to take it off. They're so happy and proud to have a coat, and it just warms our hearts to see that. So we appreciate the opportunity to have this press conference today to communicate what we're doing, and we're blessed that the principals are here to receive the coats and take them back to schools. So those of you who have made donations, thank you very much. This is how the program works, and it wouldn't work without your support. Thank you.
And we have Miss Butler from Joseph Kills Elementary.
Good afternoon. I want to say thank you from Joseph Kills Elementary for your kindness, your Coats for Kindness. February is the month of kindness, so what better example for our students to be on the receiving end of someone else's kindness. What a fantastic model, Mr. Snyder, for us. And so we're excited that we'll be able to identify some students who need these warm coats. And like Sheriff Lott said, we still have a little bit of winter left, and there are some students who will be in need. So on behalf of Joseph Kills and the other schools, we want to say thank you. Thank you so much for your kindness.
And the schools that we picked are neighborhood schools. I think all these principals will tell you they have a lot of children who walk to school. And, you know, it's cold and they need this coat. So, you know, encourage people to continue to support this group. One thing that's already came out of it, he's so pleased with what we've been able to do. We talked about a little bit earlier, this is going to be an annual event that we're going to probably do in November each year. Just before it starts getting cold, we're going to do it. So, you know, we need the support. We're going to continue to do it. So let's all take that opportunity to reach out and help these children that need our help. Questions?
What, you said that this has been going on for 15 years? Why did you originally start it?
Why did we what?
Why did you originally want to do this and get it started?
Well, originated where I would go downtown in the evening and buy hamburgers at, let's say, the McDonald's on Elmwood for $0.25 a piece and buy 200 or 300 and pass them out to the homeless. Once we started doing that, I noticed that the homeless who came when I arrived, there were more and more every time, and they started bringing children. So there were homeless families coming. And it was very clear and apparent that a lot of these individuals, both the adults and the children, didn't have warm clothing. And this is in the heart of the winter, cold time. So I took one trip, drove over to Conway to the Tanger outlets, bought some warm coats from Columbia there, and brought them back and passed those out to the adults. Well, when I went back the second time, the size of the congregating individuals was about twice the size, and there were a lot of children. So we decided at that point, which is about 12 years ago, we want to focus on kids. The kids don't have a voice as adults do. So we focus on buying new warm winter coats that we distribute throughout Columbia and South Carolina to K through 12 children. And it's grown over the years, and the donations have grown, and we have literally given out thousands of coats, which is it's been a very, very worthwhile program. And that's Sheriff Lott said we want to support that and continue doing that every year.
You talked about the sense of pride that just a coat can give a child. Can you talk about how something that people might take for granted can mean so much to a kid?
Well, I think people do take it for granted. We've all been blessed to have warm clothing, and it opens your eyes when you see not everyone has that opportunity. And that's why our program focuses on those who have a need. And it's as simple as a warm coat, hats, gloves. We don't go down that road, but we do the coats, which it just does put a smile on the children's faces. And it's so heartwarming to see when they put these coats on, zip them up, they won't take them off. It could be a warm day, but they just won't take them off because that's the first time that child's ever had a new coat, and it really pleases them. So it certainly is meaningful, and it makes us work even harder to make this program worthwhile and effective.
How can people contribute to this, whether it's through monetary donations or coats?
Yep, we have a website. It's coachforkindness.org. If they want to make a donation, or they can make a donation in our website, there's an address. They can send the personal donation to that the address, and we'll acknowledge that. Since we are a 501c3, we'll send back to them a donation letter acknowledging their gift and acknowledging that it's a tax-deductible gift under the 501c3 tax laws.
Do you prefer new or gently used? Okay.
No, new coats only. And that's a good question. New coats only. Thank you. Other questions? Thank you.
And I'll finish up with this. You know, we hear a lot of times that people don't care. I think we're seeing that different today. I think you're seeing that Columbia does care. And, you know, Mr. Snyder, what he's done in his group shows that people do care for those in our community. So thank you. And we're going to go outside, and you're going to watch us load up these boxes of the 400 coats that we got.